I'm seeing this trait in a lot of women. You don't have to like who you work for, you have to respect them. And it's very, very hard to earn someone's respect. Very hard. And it takes time. And it's very hard to get it and easy to lose. And great leaders learn that that is the ultimate in creating companies that succeed, is building that respect and maintaining it. Even though you might get mad at one of them. I'm trying to glean out of you what really goes on in those meetings. Because I have a lot of portfolio companies and I sit in those meetings sometimes and I realize that's a good leader or that's somebody I'm about to fire. Because I've been able to just see the difference over time. Sarah, you're one of my portfolio companies.
It's a mystery.
You're a tough nut, no question about it. How do you run your business?
So I actually wish I was doing it more like Eileen, sitting here seriously thinking about
He doesn't
what she's
think that
saying.
would work.
Yeah, but I'm making him money. He doesn't have to agree with me.
This is a great company I've made a lot of money on.
I mean, if they want to be in the dark about it, it's fine with me. But no, honestly, what I really heard you say, Eileen, was that that there is no need to have to force yourself to come to a hard decision when you have the consensus of people you trust around you. And what if we flip the conversation a little bit? Kevin's saying leadership is about people trusting and respecting you. What if leadership could also be you trusting and respecting a collaborative team that shows the diversity that we need in this nation, right?
I want to get a hands here for a moment on an issue that I think is really germane to this topic we're having. Recently, the head of the New York Stock Exchange, by the way, was just replaced by a woman in the last few weeks. First time in the history of the exchange. I think that's a great decision.
She's great.
But one of the challenges she faces is there is a movement within her constituency that is asking her to put required mandates in place about women representation on corporate boards in order to get a listing on the NYSE. That's one of the big verticals she has to deal with. And a lot of people think because she's a woman, she'll acquiesce to that request. The other is more technical in nature. She's being asked to make sure that there's no dual voting class shares anymore in the exchange, which is a structure where tech companies issue shares like Snap, where you don't get to vote. You get to buy them, but you can't vote. And that is also very controversial. But more controversial is the decision to set a percentage mandate for women members of a board. Do you think it is good for America? Let's get a vote here. No, it's either yes or no, okay? Should that happen? Should we mandate our large companies to be forced to put women in board positions? Hands up for yes. Okay, and hands up for no, this is a bad idea. There's a lot of people not voting in here.
That's pretty even.
It seems equal. But there's a lot of people abstaining from vote because they don't want to show their colors on this one. But you know, on the other side of this equation is, why don't we feel confident enough, and here's my question to you, to let women be put in positions based on merit, not gender? Let's start with you, Peggy.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I raised my hand. And on the second part of the question.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd like to explain why, because I'm in the minority up here. I feel like if you can draw a line back to the business impact of what having women on boards does, what having women in management does, you know, you talked about the IRR being much higher. If you can draw that line, who wouldn't do that? I feel like we're not telling that story enough. And that's a story, right? If you're an investor, what do you want to see? You want to see high IRR. And if women do that to your companies, why wouldn't you invest in as many women-founded companies as you could, if that's the result? I'd rather it be an acceptance of that rather than, well, because we're trying to meet a certain quota. I'm a little adverse to quotas.
Eileen, my gravest concern about putting a mandate in place like that is that the women that make those board seats, that get those jobs, will not have the same respect of shareholders because it wasn't based on merit. It could be thought.
Would that be true?
Well, we don't know. You'll always be wondering if you're
harder.
trying to fill that seat because you're forced to by law versus by merit. You agree with that or don't?
Well, I think there's so many great women out there that I don't think you would have any problem filling those seats with really highly qualified.
But why is it necessary to make it a law?
Because not everyone agrees.